Hi, I'm Gaia Morissette. I'm your host for Tickle.Life Podcast. I'm also a holistic sexual wellness specialist. So I am also in the field with you. All right. Experts, relationship, sex experts. So here's the thing. I Before we get into like the logistics of what we're going to do, I need to tell you why we're doing it in the first place. Okay? So what we have found is that when you share, first of all, this podcast is not like any other podcast. This is not about you professionally. This is not about talking professionally about your business, talking about, sex and sexual education from like a teaching perspective. This is sharing your personal experience with one particular experience, one moment. All right, and we're gonna dive into it, and we're gonna take that person, we're gonna take the audience on a ride with you of what, as if they were there with you. Okay, so that's really, really important to understand. If you are not comfortable talking about your own personal experience, not professional, personal experience, then this is not going to be a good fit for you. All right. Second thing is that we have found that when you share who you are on a personal level, the audience really eats it up. First of all, the world is a bunch of voyeurs. Let's just be honest. That's why social media works, okay? And people want to know, what was your first kiss like? What do you think about when you're masturbating? What's your dating life like? What was the first time you went to a sex club was like? Or anything that is your experience. People are hungry for that, to watch and to listen to that experience. And what happens is, because they can relate to you, because it was something new, so you were in that experience from the new perspective, which a lot of the audience's places where they're going to be in their evolution and their development, then they can relate to you. And when they can relate to you, they want to give you money. Basically, at the end of the day, from a conversion perspective, that's actually what converts the best, is when people get to know who you are and your vulnerabilities and your experiences in life. Okay, so that's the premise of the show. Now, what I need from you, and I'll promise what I'm going to promise you. What I need from you is to pick one experience, either the first in something, your first kiss, your first dating, your first whatever, in any one of those areas: dating, sex, your sex life, masturbation life, kink life, any one of those areas. Okay. And I want you to pick one experience. And the reason we're only going to do one experience is, one, the podcast is only 20 minutes long. And two, to keep us really focused on that experience, because it's really easy for us to kind of like wash over, and here's the teachable moment, and then we get into our teaching personas that we all have, that persona that we have out in the world that kind of separates us professionally from personally. So we're going to pick one experience so that we can dive into that. And what I need from you is to think about that experience. I want you to take me and the audience as if we were there with you. What were you thinking about before, during, and after? What were your emotions? What were you feeling? What sensations were you feeling before, during, and after that experience? What were your internal concerns or fears or judgments before, during, and after? What were the external ramifications of, from others around you before, during, and after, right? So we really want to dive into that one experience. Now, here's what I promise. I promise to hold space for you to do that. I promise to ask you really good probing questions so that you don't have to think about what are you going to say next. I just want you to kind of lean in and just go into the experience, and I will, take you through the journey together. All right. And I promise that before we go live, you and I will get a chance to have a conversation about what you want to talk about. And if there's any particular questions that I am not allowed to ask you that are like your hard limits that are off the table, so that you aren't actually like, worried about that. Okay. I want it to be a safe space for you. And that's what my job as the host is, to create a safe space for you. Because let's be honest, you probably create safe space, and that's why you do what you do for everybody else. Let me create that safe space for you. All right? So, and I promise there'll be lots of giggles and laughter, because that's just how I roll. And we'll have a good time. It's like you and I just having a great conversation. You're telling me I'm getting to know you. And just as I'm getting to know you, the audience gets to know you. And at the end of the podcast, I will give you space to tell us how people can, what do you got going on? How can people spend more time with you? All of your information will be in the show notes, so people can have access to you and get easily accessible to you. If you have any like free giveaways or, anything to bring you to, your lead generation pages and stuff like that, to capture emails and stuff like that, let us know. We will put that in the show notes for you, right? We want to promote you and how brilliantly amazing you are. So just keep reminding yourself when you come in for our interview and our playtime of spending time together, that you're coming in as a person, not as a persona. And I got you. All right. That's it. That's all. All right. I will see you soon. I can't wait to learn all about your first of whatever or your transformational experience. Talk to you soon. Mwah! Bye.